Welcome back to MMA Oddsbreaker. Today we got Scott Holtzman getting ready to fight Anthony Christoudolou. Come up here on UFC Fight Night 73. Of course, Scott, you've been signed with the UFC for a really long time. You go back and look at your record. The last time you fought was George Shepard back in Premier Fighting Challenge in April of 2014. Why did it take the UFC so long to finally get you a fight?
Yeah, it wasn't them. Once they signed me, I had hand surgery after the George Shepard fight. Pretty invasive hand surgery there, but the surgery went well and everything, and got back to training and had another injury. They were kind of waiting to match me up, and had another injury and had to be sidelined there for a little while. So, I took a little extra time to make sure I was healed properly and ready to go. So, I'm ready now for sure.
Most fighters, if they're not fighting, they're not eating. It's a feast or famine sport still. We make a lot of money when we're competing, but if we're not fighting, we don't make that much money. How'd you survive over the last year?
Yeah, just kind of made ends meet. Some little odd jobs here and there and things like that. So, um, you just do what you got to do. I think you and some of the original guys know that more than anybody.
We're
So,
still doing it, even in retirement. We're still trying to make ends meet. So yeah, it's a little bit better now. I mean, obviously the numbers have come
yeah,
up, the money's come up for you guys, but still, it's the top 3% are making most of the money. But potentially everybody can make millions of dollars. The sport is set up now so everyone can make a lot of money, especially if you're fighting in the UFC. Um,
yeah.
will you? Are you now? You have all the odds and ends done. You have a fight element. Did you stop all the other stuff and just concentrate for this whole training camp? Just concentrate on being a professional fighter?
Yeah, I did. I was back in Tennessee, resting up when I got injured. So when I was ready to go, I came back out to Arizona where I do my camps here at the MMA lab, and I've been out here and been focused, grinding hard for about 10 weeks now. So yeah, yeah. So I've been out here. I've been focused. And I'm feeling great for sure.
Who have been your training partners over there at the lab?
We got a bunch of guys in and out of the gym all the time. Let's see, handful of UFC 55s. Of course, Benson's in there. We got some up and comers in the UFC: Brian Barberina, David Mashad. Uh, Gosh, a handful of guys that you've never heard of that'll come out there and beat you up if you try to take a round off. But
Did you get much time to actually
you know,
go? Did you go rounds with Benson at all? Was he part of your training camp, or was he still kind of resting a little bit or taking some time off?
Yeah, he's still resting up a little bit. I've done some wrestling and stuff with him, and some lighter rounds, but we haven't gone any harder rounds this time. But I've got a couple years worth of rounds under my belt here with Benson, so I've helped him with quite a few training camps now. So
Now, how did you end up at the lab of all places? I mean, living in Tennessee, you could have gone anywhere in the country. I mean, it's just as easy for you to go all the way to, Hensel Gracie's and Matt Serra's out in New York as it is for you to go all the way to Couture's in Las Vegas. Like, how come you chose to go to the lab in Arizona?
yeah, it was odd how it happened. My pro debut uh, was in the XFC with Jamie Varner was the headliner on the card, and we cut some weight together and kind of cut up. And he invited me to come out and train with him. And when I did, he talked up the lab a little bit, and we were supposed to go over and train. He cross trained there a little bit, but we never got to. So I went on social media and followed him a little bit, and they came out. They had a house where you could come and live and stay and train. So I decided to do that. I tried it for a week, and I came out, and the atmosphere was a real big time family atmosphere, and they trained hard. I got beat up for a week, so got everything in order and tried to figure out what I could do to get back there more. So um, yeah, I planned on trying out some other places and but I just loved the lab, so I ended up staying here, and that's where I've been ever since.
You're from Tennessee, obviously Knoxville. The fight's in Nashville. You're obviously gonna be the hometown hero. As soon as they hear the crowd that doesn't know you hears you're from Tennessee, obviously they're gonna have your back. Is it gonna feel weird fighting in front of that crowd in Nashville?
Well, I don't think so. I've fought a couple times already in Nashville and around Tennessee, so it'll be another home fight for me for sure, but on a much bigger scale. So I've visualized a lot, that walkout and all those people and things like that. And, so I'm trying to be as prepared as I can for not having been there yet. So, and, I've been behind the scenes a little bit with Benson and other guys. So I'm fairly familiar with the process and what leads up to it and the walkouts and things like that. So, for me, I'm just gonna take care of my end, really.
Nashville obviously is the hotbed for country music. I'm a country music fan.
Yeah.
I do spend quite a bit of time in Nashville doing charity events and doing some appearances. So
Yeah.
it is a fight town. Like it's an athletic town. They like going to fights, and this I will not be surprised to see the who's who of country music and athleticism. All the sports stars being in the front four rows. At the fights. Will it throw you off at all in the middle of it as you walk out and you turn your face and all of a sudden directly just down from your opponent a little bit is one a country superstar or a Nashville Predator hockey player just sitting there in the corner? Will that throw you off at all?
Well, I don't think so. I don't look around in the crowd too much. I try to take it all in and not miss the forest through the trees, I guess some people say. But, I'm kind of locked in when it comes to that point, so I won't notice it, but it would be pretty cool. I was thinking about tweeting Taylor Swift and seeing if I could get her out there to her first event, but
She's actually dating a friend of mine, and it's kind of weird seeing her out there and seeing them together a little bit. And they're sweet lady, nice lady, but I keep my distance. I don't interact with them at all. It's like a different genre, different kind of mentality when she's around. But it's she's definitely an athletic, like sports, likes things like that, and just depends on her schedule. But it's very easy for folks like that to make that phone call and call the UFC and be like, hey, look, I need I need to get 2 tickets to come in and kind of watch this thing. And tweeting her would not be a bad idea. Like it's not anybody. Like, and this is for the folks at home. It's not a bad idea when you're fighting to go, hey, look, this is Tom Cruise. Like, I'm a big fan of yours. We're in your hometown. Will you come watch this? Will you come watch this fight? If you're fighting in LA, so why wouldn't you do that when you're in Nashville? That's actually not a bad idea. And I would love to see if she actually would come.
Yeah. I'm telling you, I'd be a little bit starstruck by her. So
I can
I wouldn't
guarantee
want
you,
any blood or anything to fly on her. So
she'll be far enough away. You won't. That zone is staged for Goldberg and Rogan. The blood zone. She'll be outside of that space. So take the fans at home. It's 4 steps up the end of the cage. You have to walk up 4 stairs to get into the cage of the UFC, and you're walking in. You haven't done it yet because this is your debut for the UFC. But what do you think is going to be going through your head once you cross that threshold of the door? It's not, it's not ready to fight yet. You're just walking in there. You're making your lap. But what do you think is going to be going through your head when you first make that first step onto that UFC canvas?
I think in my head I'll be thinking this is it. Sink or swim, fight or flight, right here. And I'll come back to my positive reassurance and all my training, the hard work, all the top level guys I've wrestled with, I've sparred with, I've rolled with, and just reassure myself, hey, we've been here a million times already in my head, in the rounds in the gym. I've been in here with some of the best guys in the world. So, the cage, although some cages come in different shapes and sizes, it's all the same. It's no different. That door locks and it's still a fight no matter who's watching, no matter where it is. Whether my last fight was in a rodeo barn or not, it's still the same thing. So, just lots of positive reinsurance and knowing and believing in my training and myself for sure. I'll have John Crouch. I'll have a guy named Jeff Jimmo. He's from North Carolina. And I'll have my first coach from home, Ben Harrison. He's from Knoxville, still runs our Knoxville gym.
Okay. How often do you get back to Knoxville to train? You said before that when you were healing up after your surgery, you were kind of in Knoxville, laying around and taking it easy. Do you go back to Knoxville and you only go to Arizona for your training camps? Or is it kind of a back and forth throughout the entire year, whether you're in training camp or not?
No, I always train. So when I'm in Knoxville, I train, and I work out and train always. So I do lots of jiu-jitsu at our gym and MMA and wrestling. I go wrestle with the high school kids. Vince and I train. We do a lot of our strength and conditioning together too. and once in a while we'll cross train. We go to the boxing gym, so I'm not one of these guys that only does camps. I'm in the gym. I maybe take a week off just to recharge mentally, but I'm in there, man. I always am, and I love training at home too. I miss all those guys, and of course, my coach there is who I started with, so it's a big deal to me for sure.
Well, Scott, it sounds like you have a good plan put together. It's going to be a good fight between you and Anthony. I can't wait to watch it come together. And congratulations on finally you've been with UFC for over a year and finally getting a chance to fight now that everything's healed up. I'm glad that you're going to get in there. You've had a great career run so far at 7-0. You're undefeated in the amateur ranks as well. Now it's when you get to move that number up to 8-0 finally after a year layoff. And it's got to be, the feeling's going to be amazing knowing that you're getting ready to finally, get back after it again. Yeah. Are you a guy that believes in ring rust at all? Do you think it's going to be a problem when you first get in there having to shake off some stuff the first 45, 50 seconds?
I'm not sure. Maybe I think if you let it affect you, you can. But I've been putting in these rounds in the gym with top level guys, so I've got some plan to combat that early on. So we'll see. I always come in really good shape, so I'm not concerned about running out of gas. I'm not concerned about that one bit. So, but we'll see. You hear about it all the time, so you can't help but think about it. But I'm going to put myself in the best possible position to win. You can bet on that.
That's Scott Holtzman is getting ready to fight coming up here on UFC Fight Night 73, August 8th in Bridgestone Arena inside Nashville, Tennessee. Thanks so much for coming here, Scotty. I appreciate it so much, and we'll talk to you later.
Hey, thank you, Frank. I appreciate it, and congrats on everything.
Thanks, man.